Education is a fundamental human right. Yet, for persons with special needs in Nigeria, accessing quality education remains a significant challenge. Inclusive education has been internationally recognized as a means of attaining equity, justice, and quality education for all learners, especially those who have been traditionally excluded from mainstream education for reasons of disability, ethnicity, gender, giftedness, or other characteristics. According to the United Nations Education, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, inclusive education is a process of addressing and responding to the diverse needs of all learners by increasing participation in learning and reducing exclusion within and from education. However, a report released in 2023 by World Health Organization revealed that an estimated 1.3 billion people experience significant disability. That means 16% of the world's population, or 1 in 6 people. Here in Nigeria, special needs education has evolved over the years, from establishment of special schools to implementation of inclusive education policies. The journey has been long and arduous.
Education will continue to be the only means of liberating people from poverty, and as such, any medium that attempts to liberalize this important resource should be celebrated. This conference affirms the provisions of the Protocol to the African Charter on Human and People's Rights on the rights of persons with disabilities in Africa. Particularly Article 18.4 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights provides that persons with disabilities shall have the right to social measures of protection in keeping with their physical or moral needs. Shall have the rights. It means it's compulsory that they should have these rights. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has demonstrated this, as it has gone further to ensure that the right to education of persons with disabilities is affirmed in the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. This will be required, and to continue to appreciate the value of persons with disabilities, including those with high support needs, as full members of society, in line with the various declarations of extant provisions at regional and continental levels. If we must achieve the provisions of the Millennium Development Goals, especially Goal 1, unrestricted access and equal opportunity, must be created for all categories of candidates, irrespective of whether they are able or disabled. As you all deliberate on the best way to ensure equal opportunity for all, be assured that the National Assembly will continue to support initiatives that aim at providing opportunities for citizens to reach the potentials of the youth. In other words, the highest points of their productive and creative abilities. It is my expectation that this conference would, if need be, bring out areas of legislation that will consolidate the efforts made by critical stakeholders like JAMB. This administration will continue to devise means and ways to enhance education. The student loan scheme, which has just been re-established in a more effective and contemporary manner, would eliminate all bottlenecks for candidates, especially those living with disabilities, to access tertiary education opportunities. We are open to moves of such engagements, as we will continue to accept initiatives that will promote inclusiveness, fairness, and equity. I urge you all especially the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, the National Association for Persons with Disabilities, and other key stakeholders to continue to support the drive for inclusiveness of all candidates. Let us unite to advocate for the rights of persons with disabilities as enshrined in the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Prohibition Act 2018. Together, we can create a more inclusive society and combat discrimination against individuals with disabilities. But if we're going to deal with these issues, moving on, let's begin by enforcing extant laws. There are laws in this country. Access to public institutions. There are laws. But the banks went and built small cubicles so that even persons with disabilities, particularly those on wheelchairs, cannot enter. You have to sit outside and plead and wait for them to call somebody. As nobody, no institution has been punished for violating these laws. So that is the starting point. Embrace innovation technology. And we've heard from the keynote speaker, there is a resistance because technology reduces corruption and waste. And it is through waste you can embezzle. So there's a resistance. We have to do something about that. Intensify public education. I don't know about other countries. In Nigeria here, persons with disabilities don't need your sympathy. But even if you start from there, it doesn't exist in this country. I leave the road, you are wasting time. Just say it now, why you stand? The attitude of the vast majority of Nigerians is anti-persons with disabilities, even their family members. Let's not hide the truth. So there is need for massive public education, enlightenment, to begin. Finally, I think that working with the National Assembly to either amend existing laws or enact new laws, we can get a lot done.
In 2017, Registrar of Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, Professor Isha Koloyede, established the JAM Equal Opportunity Group, aimed at ensuring all eligible Nigerians have the same opportunity, options, and benefits in participating in the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination and are not discriminated against for reason of any form of disability.
Education remains the cornerstone of self-actualization, and it is our collective responsibility to ensure that every individual, regardless of his or her ability, has access to higher education. For this reason, JAM is dedicated to fostering fora that facilitate discussions on innovative strategies to enhance educational opportunities for all citizens, particularly those with disabilities. I urge everyone present to engage thoughtfully, share constructive critiques, and collaborate on actionable steps to improve the educational landscape for persons with disabilities. Many people might even ask, why are we holding these conferences? They might probably have forgotten that in 2016, when we were starting this journey, the first summit we held was on how to detect, how to identify instruments that could be used for cheating devices in Lagos. And we studied this, invited somebody from Senegal, an expert, who exposed us, who told us, and who gave samples of those. That was the beginning of our journey on how to combat examination malpractice. Similarly, we have embarked on this journey to be able to help people with disability, because we believe very strongly that the best, nothing is more practical than a realistic theory. A realistic theory is the most practical way than even what you call practice. In our commitment in JAM to creating an enabling environment that guarantees equitable access to tertiary education, the board has reduced the registration fee for UTME to 3,500 from 5,000. To further support candidates with disabilities, but those who have 5 credits in SSCE, we have, in addition to paying other charges of theirs, provided application documents for them free of charge. For the visually impaired and other candidates with disabilities who require special examination settings, we have also provided transport supplementation, free accommodation and transit for them and their guides during the examination process. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Minister, in defining disability, we have taken cognizance that impairment can be of cognitive, sensory, or communicative ability. In addition, JAM believes in the educational principle that educational assessment rests squarely on equity, reliability, and validity of the assessment and its processes. Consequently, inclusive education is not negotiable. It's non-negotiable in any assessment process that what the name of being a test or assessment. Therefore, emerges our motivation and inspiration for the length, breadth, and depth of inclusivity in all aspects of our mandates. To ease the difficulties and encourage access for candidates with special needs, we established 11 adapted centers across the country, expanded the special services to, in addition to the hearing impaired who are mainstreamed, candidates with autism, mobility impairment, paralysis, Down syndrome, dyslexia, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, albinism, cerebral palsy, and other disfigurements. The board, through the encouragement and support of GIEC, held a national conference in September 2023, which led to, among others, the establishment of the Disability Support Unit in JAM. And in most institutions in Nigeria, as well as the promotion of the study of disability support services to enlighten the population on the peculiarity and needs of persons with disabilities on our campuses and in the larger society. Inclusive policies to cater for the mainstream deaf candidates have also been enacted and implemented. They include the policy that all instructions must be written, while the hearing impaired in each session are clearly identified to the proctors. The UTME reading test has also been rendered into audiobook for the visually impaired, while GEOG has been working on adaptation of items to suit the peculiarities. Fully braille option was last year made an alternative to read aloud for special candidates. Efforts are on to ensure the automation of the examination processes for all options available to the candidates.
Despite policies and initiatives, students with special needs face numerous challenges. These include inadequate facilities, lack of trained teachers, and societal stigma.
Special educator, the challenges we face include not being known by so many. But recently, people are getting to know us. Before, employing special educators to schools or to places was a problem because when they want to employ people, they will say B.Ed because our degree certificate is B.Ed. And when you come up in the outline of subjects, you will not see special education. So then people we are not aware of what we are meant for. So, but now we have been incorporated, and anywhere they are employing, they are considering the need of persons with disabilities.
We have the internal challenges and then the external challenges, you understand? Um, Challenges like when I'm talking about internal challenges, I'm talking about limited resources because working with special children, you need a lot of resources that will give them better understanding of what you're talking about. You understand? So we have limited resources. Then we have societal and cultural barriers. Are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Yes, we have. When I'm talking about societal barriers, now I'm talking about society, the schools. When we talk about inclusive setting, we're talking about mainstream education. People, the neurotypical and the special education being in the same setting. You understand? So there's societal barrier, cultural barrier. From cultures forbid people with special needs. You understand? So those are our challenges. Some of the children don't want to integrate with those special education, special children. You understand? Then we also have challenges of diverse learning needs, because they are different. You can't meet a child with special needs who is the same. Do you understand? They are all different. Like two children with autism can never be the same. So the learning need diversity is different. So also the approach would be different. So a lot of challenges when it comes to meeting the needs of those children, and then teaching the trainings. Like for example, now teachers. You understand? Some of the teachers that are supposed to teach them are not well trained. Are we together? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, I can.
Some of the teachers who are meant to teach in the regular classroom, the general classroom, are not trained on this special education. So it's a big challenge because when you take a child of special education to a mixed with a regular class, the class teacher who is meant to be the figurehead teacher does not know how to work with that children. So it becomes a big challenge for us. You understand? And then acceptance in the general setting is also another challenge. General acceptance in the settings is also a big problem for us. The class children does not accept them, doesn't want to associate with them. So that gives us a big issue in teaching these children or in making their learning more easier and more faster.
Amidst the challenges, there are stories of hope and success. Innovative programs and dedicated educators are making a significant impact.
The national policy on inclusive education, supporting the national policy on special need education. They are working hand in hand. Special children, that is children with special needs, they have been included, especially here in FCT, because everybody seems to be aware of their existence now. And there are some schools that where they attend, the teachers are conversant with their special need nature, and they are complying in making sure they carry them along in the classroom activities.
Non governmental organizations and community supports play a crucial role in bridging the gap. Their efforts provide essential resources and advocacy for children with special needs.
My organization, leading other organization, we were privileged to be the first organization that led the process of formulating the first inclusive education policy in the country. And we've also led
the process of review, the review process of the current inclusive education policy. So at the policy level, we have been part of the formulation. At the advocacy level, we championed the advocacy for inclusive education in the country. And at the implementation level, we are given all the support to the Federal Ministry of Education to drive the inclusive education, both at the grassroots and at the sub-national, at the national. I'm also a member, as a matter of fact, the co-chair of the working group that is driving the implementation of inclusive education in the country. The challenges are broad-based and sometimes multifaceted. We have the challenges of ignorance, people not knowing, the details and the ramifications of inclusive education, and recognizing inclusive education as though it's meant for the poor or for children or for persons with disability. No, the concept of inclusive education is that of education for all. The nuances around inclusive education and in context is such that inclusive education is designed to create a same space, how do I put it? It's designed to create a same place where everyone comes together to learn in one environment, while that environment and the operators of that environment will provide the necessary tool for that individuals to participate effectively in the process. That's what inclusive education is all about. It is a system that gradually dismantles the so-called special education, which is necessary, which actually necessitates seclusion. So when you pull people together and say they are the blind, they should go and they will lump them into one space. You take the deaf, you put them into one space. The danger of that is that those individuals are secluded from the society at large. And so when they are done with education, you'll find them living like a recluse. And that's dangerous to the society and does not in any way support the principle of inclusion in a broader space. Measurement of impact requires a lot of mechanism. One, I do have a department in our organization that is responsible for monitoring and evaluation. So we monitor and evaluate the feedback through feedback mechanism, through learning. We monitor and ensure that, one, the schools are accessible. Two, they are model schools for inclusive education. Three, that individuals with disability have become part and parcel of the school system that actually practice disability, that practices inclusive education. So, and then of course, individual impact mechanism. We look out for individuals that have benefited from the system and tell their story. Somebody like me, growing up, don't have all of the privileges and the amenities that today's students with visual impairment do have. So we monitor from time to time organizations that have inclusive practices. We monitor from time to time organizations that are actually mainstreaming persons with disability.
The voices of persons with special needs themselves are powerful testimonies to their resilience and determination.
I came here as a PhD holder. Between last year and now, I am still here. I don't have a job. I have everything it takes to lecture in a university. I have written application to so many organizations and I don't have any response.
Looking ahead, there is need for continued advocacy, better funding, and comprehensive training for educators. The future of special needs education in Nigeria depends on collective efforts.
We will continue to create awareness. We will continue to create awareness. And I always tell people that if disability has not reached you, it has not passed you. So by the time people know that they are potential persons with disabilities, they will behave properly, because you don't know if it will be you in the next 5 minutes. Also, I think that the policymakers should always include the professionals when they are making policies, so that our input will help them to, to give to bring out a better policy. Because if you are making a policy for somebody and the person is not carried along, or somebody who is standing for the person is not carried along, you may still have to go back on the drawing board. I believe that they should include people that matter, the stakeholders. For instance, the last year, children with special need, we had to write JAMB with computer. And in the recent, most current Nigerian curriculum, children in the arts classes, they don't offer computer in schools. So if you have a child whose background have not enabled him to be conversant with computer, and the child comes into school, gets to SS3, is about to write JAMB, and doesn't know anything about computer, and you subject him to write exam with computer, I mean, that is hazardous. So I will say that those who wrote or who developed that curriculum did not carry people that matter along. There were no professionals of special education, and there were no special people themselves in the day they developed that curriculum. If not, you should have known that removing computer science or computer study from every student it will be harmful to, or it will not go well with some section of the students. So I think that curriculum is faulty, because every child needs to have the basics of computer.
Inclusion is not tolerance. It is unquestioned acceptance. Everyone deserves the opportunity to learn and grow. Therefore, by breaking down barriers and fostering inclusive education, we can ensure a brighter future for persons with special needs in Nigeria.